After Ruskin Park opened as a Chautauqua-style entertainment venue in 1902, it became so popular that it had its own railroad spur.
And they didn't have a permanent pavilion, they had a big tent. And I heard that it would seat up to 1,500 people in this huge tent. And then over the years they built, like in the first 10 years, I think they had a horse racing track there. Then they added a car racing track. They had a ball field. Later on they had a golf course. And then of course, you know, with it being on the Jim River, they had a lot of events on the Jim River, like canoeing and swimming and fishing and all kinds of things like that.
The Chautauqua movement that began out east in the 1870s lasted into the mid-1920s in some places. Ruskin Park's owners adapted to changing times and kept going through both World Wars, the Great Depression, and on into the 1960s. The 1950s saw a ballroom boom. In the early 60s, Ruskin Park was among the top venues in the region, booking national acts like Jerry Lee Lewis, Bobby Vee, Conway Twitty, and many others. For local musicians, playing the park meant working a big-time venue. Within another few years, a new sound from England signaled another big change.
For years, I didn't like the Beatles because they ruined the business for all American bands.
The death of its owner and the nature of its location finally brought an end to Ruskin Park.
And it would flood there many, many times, not every year, but most years.
Ruskin Park closed for good in 1967 at a time when so much about American life was changing. All of the buildings were torn down and the land is now used only for grazing. The only sounds are those of the wind and the soft murmur of a slow-flowing river.